Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hard Nine Pod. Today is January the 16th, Martin Luther King Day, for those of you who are paying attention to what happens actually in our country and what has happened in our country's history. So hopefully everybody out there is being nice to somebody, as at least that's one nice, simple way to keep his legacy going. With that said, as we hop into baseball, 30 days until pitchers and catchers report and 73 days until we are in the Busch Stadium bleachers watching the Toronto Blue Jays take on our St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, it's coming up quick. I am so excited for spring training. The World Baseball Classic. It's going to be fun. Crazy. It's only 30 days away at this point. I like a month from yesterday, and they will be there. Contreras and the pitchers will be there, so that's fun.
Right.
It's going to be our first.
Yeah.
It's going to be the first time since I have been cognizant of life that when pitchers and catchers reporting doesn't mean Yadier Molina is going to be reporting. So that's a change.
Yep. Yeah, no Yachty, no Bert this year. By the way, happy 43rd birthday to Albert Pujols today. Legend, 43. That's what we'll roll with.
Happy 52nd birthday to Albert Pujols.
I am 12. Hey, whatever, man.
He's never coming on here now.
Greatest Cardinal I've ever seen. I don't know that I'll ever see anybody. My hope is I will, but greatest Cardinal I've ever seen. Hey, let's hope. Nolan Gorman. I mean, come on, who are we kidding? Okay. It is nice, 2023, and with the holidays, we had taken a couple breaks here and there, had a couple things to say, but it does feel like we're back for good now, right? Getting ready to warm up for the baseball season and getting ready for everything that should hit and everything that will hit. That's not just all Cardinals, but that's all MLB, and we're going to be here multiple times a week to bring it to you.
It's great that winter warm-up began because now we actually have some things to talk about, some unexpected things, and then some other stuff. Yeah, it seems like the news cycle. Hopefully, we'll be getting news on the Cardinals mostly every day now, so we can talk about something. But there was a month there after Contreras where it was nothing. There's nothing to talk about.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that on here, that it got quiet. And outside of, hey, Carlos Correa finally has a home. Shout out, Carlos. I'm glad he's back in Minnesota. I posted something on Facebook one day about I think it's good for Major League Baseball. And one of our guys was like, well, why is that good for baseball? Why do they care where he signs? I understand where he was going with that angle, but it's good for baseball when they're not just signing with the Mets, the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Yankees, the Reds, fill in the blank, right? When a small market team like Minnesota gets to keep a guy like Carlos Correa, and again, there are a lot of opt-outs in there. We don't know, but I think that's really good. That's good for baseball.
I think it was a perfect storm for them to get their superstar, so I'm glad they jumped on it. Because the odds are they're not paying a guy like that what he's actually worth. So he has like a bamboo ankle or something. So they were able to get him on a cheaper contract. But I think it's good. I'm just glad a person finally realized that they can sign in the American League and not just the National League. Because I'm tired of every good player just making the better teams in the National League better.
Right. And I've predicted all along that he was going to New York. He was there for about 48 hours.
He wasn't there.
And then
he never. I told you he was never going to be a Met.
He wasn't. The one weird thing we haven't really talked about, we don't have to get into it now. We get into it, obviously, as the season goes on. But I thought San Francisco would be much more active in the free agent market than they were. And that's a team flush with cash, always. They always end up spending big. You think that they're just kind of waiting it out this year and letting the contracts were wild. You think they're just one of those teams that's going to end up next year making the big splash maybe?
No, I think what happened was they thought they were going to get Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge played them to get a bigger contract from the Yankees. And then they pivoted to the second best free agent, and his ankle's non-existent apparently, so they didn't get him either. So I think they tried to be. I thought this offseason was interesting because it really seems like you had to overpay to get anyone good, like really, really good. And there's some really talented players out there, but all of them came with inherent risks. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I wouldn't have felt comfortable giving out almost any contract for the big guys given out, aside from maybe Contreras and Rodon, because he got less than I thought he was going to.
Yeah, but we still know with Rodon's injury past. Like I hope he's great. I hope he goes there, and I hope.
But even then, it wasn't like 12 years.
Right.
At least it wasn't 12 years like everybody else's.
Right.
Like it was it was a weird offseason.
Yeah, the Trey Turner, the Bogarts, like those are some odd
wild contract. Good for them though.
Deals. Not trades. Well, let's get into the Cardinals. Since we're right into it. By the way, once again, welcome to 2023. I think we've been back maybe once on 2023. I think we have one. Thank you guys again. You continue to amaze us with your support of us, and we can't thank you enough. We're hoping, we're in the works. Hey, I don't have a job, right? So as a retired human. My job now is fully trying to get this podcast better content. I think we have good content, dude. I think we do. I think what we bring to our listeners is something really, really good from a fan's perspective, a unique point of view that you don't just get if you tune into a radio station or one of the Fox networks or one of the networks, right? Whatever. But we are. So my job now is for 2023 to even bring more content to the thing. So thank you to our fans, right? I mean, that's what's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Possible. Well, we got some pretty cool things, I think, coming. Maybe we'll see that we're trying to work on. And then, as always, if you have a second before we get into it, while you're watching this and you're, whatever you're doing, you're drinking your beer, you're eating your Cheetos. I don't care what you're doing. Just if you go ahead and hit that little red button on there, the subscribe, that really helps us as much as anything.
And like the video if you like it.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. And leave a comment. We're gonna get to the bag later. We'll get to the bag.
Oh yeah,
later.
I was gonna say I blew my nose before this.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that later. So
I guess that was a teaser.
That exact comment, but I do think it's somewhere out there. But one of our fans, I can't find. I wish I could give him credit. It's in a text I think that you sent to me, but I can't find it. If you can find that later, we will pull that up. But did say the young kid needs to blow his nose. Very distracting.
I listened back to it. He wasn't wrong. No. I did need to blow my nose.
Sorry,
so that's on me.
In a different climate. Evidently allergic to our cats. You're back in the house of pain now in the jail cell there in Champaign.
Hold on, I think I found it.
Yeah,
here it is. Shout out Kirk Ford. Kirk, if you're listening.
Kirk. That was really I laughed. So, by the way, just so you know, Kirk, you got under Caleb's skin for about an hour. You really got under his skin for. What do you want me to do? This is what I heard. What do you want me to do? I was sick. I don't know what you want me to do. I can't blow my nose on the air. What do you want me to do? What does Kirk want me to do? I couldn't stop laughing.
Well, I turned into Tony Soprano. What was that?
A little bit.
That was like the most Italian thing I've ever.
It was the nose thing.
I wish I was Italian.
Tony had a breathing. Well, hey, we might be. Listen, that's new. Other news. As an adopted human. Whoa, AirPod falling out. As an adopted human, you guys and my wife got me a Ancestry DNA, so I did the old spit cup.
Ew, don't make that sound. That's disgusting.
2 to 4 weeks, we'll find out. We might be, who knows? Hey, might be the gabagool. Who knows?
All right, let's get into baseball because this is getting off the rails. Quickly, like 10 minutes in.
Let's go through a few things. This week was the winter warm-up. I unfortunately never took you through the winter warm-up, something I probably should have done. I went once when your sister was very young. She was in a stroller. Your mom and me went. It was like ridiculous money back then to get an autograph. I left with an Eddie Murray rookie card. That was my winter warm-up experience. Met no Cardinals, talked to no one, wasn't allowed to ask a question, bought an Eddie Murray rookie card and walked out. That was it.
I was thinking about this. I hope next year we're able to go and maybe like get into some of the press conferences and stuff.
Yes.
So that'd be fun. I'd like to do that.
I'll make that
happen. A lot of stuff from winter warm-ups, but before we get into the news from winter warm-ups, I want to get to the most pressing issue on Twitter at times, which is Trevor Bauer and his potential involvement with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Right.
I have some thoughts on this. One, I'm not going to sit here and say I know what happened because I don't. It would be a lie. It'd be dishonest of me to tell anyone out there that I know for sure whether he did whatever he's accused of or he didn't. I don't have any idea. And he did go through the justice system, and they did not have enough to prove that he was guilty. All of those are facts. And you could have whatever opinion you want to have on that. I don't want him to be a Cardinal. I'm just going to put that out there. I have no desire to see or root for him. If I just like when there was rumors that Deshaun Watson was coming to the Saints, I didn't really have much interest in having to root for him every Sunday. I know, just put aside the sexual assault and allegations and all the serious things that are around Trevor Bauer. Before that, there was a press conference where the Dodgers had to answer questions about Trevor Bauer before all of this, about him bullying people online, about his teammates not always having the nicest thing to say about him, about him rubbing people the wrong way. And really, he proved them right. And every single thing that they were worried about, he ended up making that worry become a reality for them. And that's why they didn't want him back. So I don't have any interest in having him. And I'll get your opinion in 1 second. But I wanted to make a note of what Bill DeWitt said today. One of the things he said, he was asked about domestic violence policy and on the team. And his quote was, "Our actions will speak for us in that regard." I don't know what else he has to say to tell you that he will not be signing Trevor Bauer. That's what he basically just told you.
Listen, here's what I'll say. I'm not even going to get into what happened because there's only two people who know, if we're going to be honest, right? So it's not, like you said, it's not our job to judge. It's just not. Here's what I know. He's an elite, highly talented athlete with great stuff. But as an organization, that's all I can speak from. I'm not going to even put it on in a fan's lens because I don't care. If I were running this organization as Billy D is, one, he hasn't pitched in a year and a half. All right. So we don't know that you're going to get the Trevor Bauer that we saw before. All right. Two, the PR optics alone, is something I wouldn't want to deal with. Three, it's Adam Wainwright's final year. And all this does now is, instead of the attention that should be on number 50 and Uncle Charlie, deservedly so. Not obviously the attention should be on the ball team. That's not what I mean. But also, let's not forget the subplot of this year is the Waino farewell tour that he deserves. All right. Mm-hmm. Now that becomes subplot. Because every question that he's going to get asked is not about his career, not about St. Louis, not about, does he think he'll make the Hall of Fame? It's going to be about what he thinks about Trevor Bauer and how he views Trevor Bauer as a teammate or whatever, fill in the blanks, right? Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, it just does not add up to me. Also, I said to you this, and I think I've said it to somebody else. It's sort of like when you replace a legend, like anybody, right? Let's say whoever replaces Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. You want to be the guy who replaces the guy who replaces him. So let's see what Trevor Bauer does this year. If he is a model citizen, a model teammate, everything checks out, then maybe you're interested in another year, like in a year. But I'm not saying I am. I'm simply looking at it from an organizational point of view. And I would say, no way.
Here's the thing, and this is. I don't want to go too deep onto this. No, one, if you want a good way to push Jack Flaherty out the door for good, you bring in Trevor Bauer because he will not be coming back. He won't. Yeah, they are complete opposite human beings.
Right.
Two, it's not just Waino; it's everyone in the clubhouse. They need to be focused on winning. They had all the distractions last year of Albert and Yachty. Deservedly so. Those two deserved everything they got. But I think this year needs to be the year of just focused on winning, nothing else. And my third thing is, if people are talking about, I get he's a great pitcher. I'm not going to ever deny that. He knows more about pitching than almost anybody on the planet. If your argument for why they should or will sign him is simply that he is a great pitcher, then you're missing the boat on why they won't sign him. That's all I've got to say. That's not. I think that's nothing to do with his pitching.
I think that's the place to leave it right there. I think that's the place to leave it. The Cardinals aren't going to sign him. I think it is going to be interesting to see who does, because someone's going to. Someone's going to sign him.
I don't think so.
And maybe not. Maybe you're right.
Maybe Why would you?
Well, we saw Deshaun Watson get $300 or $250 million.
Football's a different world. We know that.
It is. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see. Let's move on to the Cardinals and our winter warm-up and a few other things. They announced this week that Matt Holliday will not. We were excited for Matt Holliday. Will not be the bench coach. I am incredibly pumped for Joe McEwing, a guy who spent 15 years in the coaching world, played here obviously in St. Louis. Super Joe. He's going to be awesome as a bench coach. When they signed Matt, and I'll get your thoughts on this here in a second. When Matt committed to being the bench coach here, I was shocked. I think I said it on here. I thought for sure you have a son who just now is entering pro ball, first year, 18 years old. You have his younger brother, who I think sophomore, maybe junior in high school in Oklahoma. I'm not sure.
Sophomore, I think. I don't know.
I think so. Projected next number one Holiday to be drafted, right? Number one overall pick. He helps his brother coach in Oklahoma at Oklahoma State. It just to me didn't seem like a fit. And you heard him on the air say, I really don't know that I want the grind of a major league season. So when they announced it, I was shocked. I was geeked because it's Matt Holliday back with the Cardinals, who, like you've talked about, who better to learn from than Matt Holliday. Everybody goes out to hit with Matt in the offseason. It feels like it's an open invitation to whoever wants to come out. So what were your? I was shocked. I am incredibly pumped for Joe. Joe has to know that now in about 1 to 3 years he's going to be a big league manager, because that's what Cardinal bench coaches do.
Yeah. One, good for Matt. You can never begrudge somebody for wanting to be around his family more. That's about as good of a reason as any to step away.
Right.
He missed a lot of family time. That's what some people don't understand. like being a Major League Baseball player is illustrious and it's fantastic. And I'm not going to say that I feel bad for any of them, but they are gone a lot. They don't. He missed a lot of the childhood of his children. Like, that's just the reality of it. So good for him that he realized this before the season and wasn't stuck in something that he couldn't get out of. And also great for Joe McEwen. Like, I think that's a great hire. Apparently, he wasn't even planning on being in the on a coaching staff. It was in his garage. Saw his baseball card from like the '90s with the Cardinals, and then the next day Mozeliak hired him. So I mean that's cool, but good for him. I think he's going to do a good job. I think
Brings a lot of knowledge.
I think we never really know how good a bench coach is because it's not something you can really calculate as a fan watching it. Like you can't say, oh, well, that bullpen decision didn't work, so it's the bench coach. So you don't really know how to evaluate it, but I think he'll be a good guy to have around.
I think the way fans that we can evaluate it is we've watched the last 4 or 5 bench coaches here in St. Louis become major league managers. There's only 30 of those in the entire world. There's only 30 jobs. So when you see that, Schilt, Ollie, Skip,
David Bell,
hopefully now Joe McEwen. I'm probably missing somebody in there too. To be
there's
fair.
someone probably, but
I think that's awesome. Like I said, I'm pumped for Joe. I think it's a great hire. I think getting him back here will be great for Ollie. It'll be great for Joe. It's going to be great for the clubhouse. Another, again, wealth of information, a lot of experience coaching. He's going to do a great job. So, also, shout out to Matt. Like, he'll be back. I think he'll be back in some capacity.
Also, they hired.
But I hope he gets to go watch his son play at the Oklahoma, at whatever high school they're at. And then he gets to go watch his son live out his dream as I guess he'll be in rookie ball, I would assume. I hope he gets to see as much of that as he can. If he's still helping at Oklahoma State, great. Great program. Took them to the College World Series College World Series this year. They made it, right?
Sure.
They made it.
I think
so. Either way, they were close.
Awesome. They hired a third hitting coach after that move because I think Holliday was going to kind of serve as that third hitting coach.
I do too.
But Daniel Nicolaisen is his name. Apparently, hey guys, if you don't like Jeff Albert, he's back because this guy was brought in to be the next Jeff Albert. Not to be the hitting coach necessarily, but to fill that role of analytical approaches and things of that nature. So good to have another voice in there. I'm glad they're using some of the money that they make to bolster their coaching staff because you look at the Dodgers, they have a shit ton of coaches. Like it's better to have more voices in there. So good for him.
Absolutely. But they're now, as well as I do, there's going to be people pissed because he didn't play in the big leagues. So therefore he can't be a major league hitting coach.
No, he's not the head. No, they'll be mad at Turner Ward. They won't even know he exists.
Right. Doesn't
they
matter.
Won't know he exists. Those people don't.
This guy's an idiot. He didn't even play. How can he tell? How can that happen? We know that's coming. If they lose 5 games, this guy's going to get they're going to hate him. So
they're not going to know who he is, Dad. They didn't know who Turner Ward was last year.
That is fair.
They'll only know who Turner Ward is.
All right. Let's look at a few things just to pop off. I know not something you were too pumped up about earlier when you and I talked about it. Cardinals did sign 17 international guys. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of signings for for anybody. I assume I should know more than that, but it seems like a lot for the Cardinals. Cast a wide net. Hope that you can pull a couple big fish out. I assume is what they're thinking. But you and I've talked about it. The Cardinals need to be more active in the international market. I would love to sit here and tell you that I know anything about any of these guys. I don't. My hope is they're all great. I hope they all end up making a big league roster someday. Chances are they're not, but let's hope that maybe they do.
Well, first off, good for all of them because a lot of them are getting out of not great circumstances. So obviously great for them to be able to come over here and do whatever they do. I do wish they kind of went for the bigger fish in the international signing market, like the Rafael Devers and Framber Valdez's of the world.
We don't know.
I know that Rafael Devers got paid $1.5 million, and I know we didn't do that. So I do know that we didn't get Rafael Devers.
That's all we know.
What I will say is, maybe they're going to be great. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know enough about them. I'd like to learn more, but I'm sure as they start playing some affiliated baseball, we'll learn more about some of those guys.
With that being said, just a few, obviously this week also big news for the Cardinals. Sorry, hold on. Had it pulled up here and lost it. Signing, would they get 5 guys this week?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Free in arbitration. So we got obviously the Dakota Hudson deal. Dakota Hudson's back $2.75 million in that area. Jordan Montgomery at 10. Tommy Edman at 4. O'Neill 4.5. Am I right on that number?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jack avoids arbitration and signs for
5.4.
4. Is there's somebody there I feel like I'm missing?
Jordan Hicks.
My apologies.
For just over $1 million. I think there's two that we should talk about because there are two to me that are noteworthy. The other one's good for them. They're making more money. Tommy's was surprising to me. He made more than I thought he would, so good for him. But the two that I want to talk about were Jack Flaherty and Tyler O'Neill. And here's why. Jack Flaherty, we all know he's our union rep. He's the guy that and union reps obviously love arbitration. They love taking teams to task because they want to get the most money they can for the next generation of people like Jack Flaherty who can now look at that number and say, I compared to Jack Flaherty, so now I get more money than you would have given me. Him avoiding arbitration is noteworthy to me, not because I think that means the Cardinals are going to give him an extension, but because I think that means that they're on the same page. You know, they probably came together and they probably said, hey, I don't want to do this again with you. I don't want to go back to arbitration. We want to focus on winning this year. What do you want? Okay, $5.4 million. Okay, get it. I don't want to go do this again. So that was noteworthy to me. First time Jack hasn't gone to arbitration. So that's great. And then Tyler O'Neill as well. We know that arbitration messed him up last year. He was kind of open about it. Good for him realizing, hey, maybe this isn't something I want to go do again. And the Cardinals generally don't love going to arbitration. That's kind of how they've always been. They like to find a deal if they can make one. So good for both sides getting that done. As low distractions as possible, and I like that. And obviously, two guys are going to arbitration, which we can talk about in a second.
Yeah, well, I was going to get to that. They currently are telling Ryan Helsley how bad he is. That's what's happening now.
Not yet.
Well, they are. That's what like for those of you. I think we've talked about on here. Obviously, you and I never experienced this. We did not sit in these, but we have listened to a lot of people who have, and heard their stories. When you sit in an arbitration hearing, you're presenting your case, kind of like the law, and they're literally telling you how terrible you are. Like the organization, the arbiters, like the people on the Cardinals side are literally going to tell Ryan Helsley how terrible he was after he just came off one of the greatest relief pitching seasons in Cardinals history.
Yeah, it's over $700,000. Like,
right.
Just pay the guy. That's a big difference for his paycheck, not a big difference for your paycheck, DeWitt.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, it happens. You look at Aaron Judge went to arbitration last year. How silly is that? So it does happen. The one that was more interesting, I get that one because he's wanting to capitalize off of an absolutely insane season that he just had.
Get as much money as he can.
Genesis Cabrera.
Yeah. Weird.
What are you doing? You're lucky you have a job, Genesis. You were maybe the worst reliever in all of baseball. What are you trying to? He's not going to win. Like he's not. There's no way that he wins this arbitration case.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. But Hells deserves everything. We first of all got to keep Hells bells going. Need to tighten it up a little bit. We talked about it's got to be fine tuned. Door opens, bell drops. We got to be better. We got to be better in the Cardinals booth. We got to be better with our lights. Let's go ahead and do it during the daytime, not just at night. You can make it work.
They did
but it's a start. It's a start.
To be fair, Dad, they only did it once during the daytime. We were there, and he blew the game.
That is okay. Well, let's not use that in the arbitration hearing. We do not need people knowing that and using that.
No, I hope Hells wins it. He probably won't because I think the Cardinals have a good idea of what first year arbitration relievers are going to get, which is what he is. But Correa it's just like it surprises me. Like you come out have a complete clunker by every metric. He was one of the worst relievers in baseball. I just don't get why going to arbitration is something. Whatever, make the most money you can make. I get it, but it's confusing to me.
Read an article today and learned a few things. It's always good. I don't read a lot unless it's usually about 280 characters at a time. But did read an article today. I did not realize that the Cardinals went to Montgomery, Flaherty, and Tommy for an extension, to try to get an extension.
Where did you see that?
Well, let's see. Let's pull that up. So
because I have not seen any Flaherty rumors.
Yeah. Not a one of them got done, and then they went to the.
I saw Helsley, Montgomery, and Tommy. Was Flaherty on that list?
Did I read it wrong in CJ?
We need to find this article because I want to see if that's the case.
Okay. Well, give me a second. Let's get to I will look for article.
Okay. I'll talk about Tommy and.
There you go. That's good.
Who was the other one?
That's good journalism. That's at U of I.
Tommy, stop saying that to me. I know I'm good at journalism. Tommy and who?
Ooh. See, okay. Hey, do we remember?
Find the article.
Let's go ahead and get to another.
Can we stop that? I don't want to go for 2 hours. Find the article so I can talk about it. Who is the other one? Tommy and who?
Montgomery.
Yeah. So Tommy won. He's interesting to me because it just depends to me. Like, what are your plans for Gorman and Donovan, do you have long-term plans for both of those guys? Because if you do, and you have plans for Mason Wynn, where does Tommy Edman figure into that? You know what I mean? Like, where does he figure into the long-term plan if you have those two being your potential second baseman, and then you're short? I mean, I would love to keep Tommy, and I would be very happy if they gave him an extension.
Okay.
But at some point, they're going to have to decide, what guys they want to keep long-term and what guys they don't.
MLB.com. I knew I read it. I knew my grading comprehension was still there. Do not get angry when I tell you who wrote it.
John Denton.
Bingo. All right. Here it says right here. Oh my
he has good reporting. He just has typos all the time.
He does. Lefty Matz is the only pitcher signed beyond the season, and attempts to ink Montgomery and Flaherty to extensions this week did not bear fruit, meaning both could become free agents following the season. Earlier, he talked about how Tommy was the other guy that they had talked extensions, but none of which got to fruition. There it is right here. The Cardinals went into Friday. I'm quoting. I want to quote this so that we can get it right. The Cardinals went into Friday noon Central Time deadline for players to file for salary arb with hopes of inking promising pitchers Montgomery, Jack Flaherty, and key core players Tommy Edman and Ryan Helsley to contract extensions. While the Cardinals did reach 1-year pacts with Montgomery, Flaherty, and Edman, no long-term contracts were hammered out. So there you go.
Okay. Here's the thing. That's really good. I'm glad I wish you would have sent me that. That's good because that means they're talking.
Well, here's the thing. You're usually like if we were watching a TV show, you're always 6 episodes ahead of me. So I assume me giving that. Here's what happens when I find something. Here's what happens, guys. I find a nugget. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Can't wait to tell Caleb. Text, hey, did you see? Oh yeah, I saw that earlier. That's what I get. So I knew that when I sent that, I was going to completely bubble burst every time. So me sending it to you, I figured, well, he already knows that. So when I bring it up, he's going to say, oh yeah, and go. You didn't, and here we are.
No, but that's great news.
I was not wrong. I did not read. I'm glad.
I'm going to break all 4 of them down real quick. We'll just real quick thoughts on those 4 players. Jack, pay him as much as he wants because I want Jack Flaherty to be a Cardinal. He loves his interview with Adam Wainwright today was awesome. He was in tears. They're best friends.
Comments. Nolan Arenado's comments.
Make Jack Flaherty the next Adam Wainwright of the Cardinals organization. That's what I'm asking, and that's what I want.
Hates him though. You say
Jack Flaherty. Actually, not really. They're behind. Let's not do that because I don't think people know. People know about that, but let's not be negative. Go to Twitter if you want to see the negativity. I don't want to bring negative Jack Flaherty stuff here.
First of all, let's say right now, we are massive Jack Flaherty fans.
Yeah,
have been. I'm tired of people saying, "Oh, he's always hurt. He's a pitcher." Would you not Did you not want to go sign Jacob deGrom? He's also always hurt. He's one of the greatest pitchers of all time.
Yeah, and also he's had the weirdest 3-year stretch to be injured ever, and I don't want to. We've gone over that.
Let me say this. I wanted to bring this up earlier. $5.4 million could be the greatest deal for an ace of all time. I would love to see them
get arbitration, but yes, Corbin Burns is making 10.
I know, but I'm still saying for the Cardinals.
I'm saying, I just think
I would extend all 3 of those guys. Is what I'm saying.
I wouldn't.
I know you wouldn't. I would.
Why are we extending Jordan Montgomery?
Well, I don't know what it would.
There's
cost
27 Jordan Montgomerys out there.
He's only 29 years old. You only got Matt. If you could extend Flaherty and Montgomery, you got 3 really good starting pitchers. And now
you're talking about running the rotation back again, Dad.
You're talking 3/5 of it, dude.
Well, Michaelis is coming back. We know that. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. I would bet my entire life right now on the fact that Miles Michaelis will have an extension by spring training.
I would be shocked. Really?
Yes. Why would they not?
They did it once, dude. That's going to shock me. I know you've been on.
Where's he going to go, Dad? Where is he going to go?
And I mean, somebody will sign him.
He loves being a Cardinal. He's not expensive.
Next contract. Thank you, Miles, for your service.
Maybe. Maybe.
Service.
Maybe. But either way, I don't know. I mean, Jack's the guy I really want them to bring back and do what you can. I would love to see an incentive-laden deal for him because he has injury concerns. But a deal where, hey, you reach this amount of innings at this ERA, you make $5 million more and stuff like that. Right. That's what I would like to see. I don't know if he'll sign a deal if he's even willing to sign a deal before spring training. I mean, before free agency, because I just don't know. Helsley, you have to be careful with relievers, so I wouldn't go crazy. But I would be all in on them extending him. Just don't go crazy. Don't give him Edwin Diaz money. And then Tommy, I'm okay. I would love to have Tommy back. But I do think if you bring Tommy Edman back, you cannot continue forward past not this season, but the next season with Donovan, Gorman, and Wynn all here because that makes no
I agree.
sense.
I think that's a really good point. I think that's a really good point. What anyway, I'm not going to belabor the point, but I would be on board with a Jordan Montgomery extension. If it's 3 years, I'd be on board with that.
If it's
But either way,
reasonable, I'm all in for it. But I
you're
just
talking about
don't know
guys.
how reasonable it's going to
You're
be.
talking about a pitcher who's never really had injury history. I'm not saying he
Knock
won't
on
have
wood.
it. I know, obviously, but there are guys who pitch for a long time
Yeah.
without substantial injuries.
He's a
He
really
might be
good
that guy.
pitcher. I want them to
Yes.
aim a little higher if they're going to be paying him
He is.
$20 million a year.
If you got Matson and because I said last time, I'll say it again. I believe Steven Matt's going to have a very good season at
I think
the
so
rotation.
too.
I really do. I think
I hope
Cardinal
so.
fans are going to get to see the Steven Matz that we signed, not the Steven Matz that we saw last year or that we saw 3 years ago when he was started as well. But either way, I think that's something that I would have to look at, and then you only have 2 openings that you have to go sign. That's all.
Do you
saying.
think this is the last thing I want to say on this because there's other stuff we want to talk about? Jordan Montgomery is a Scott Boras client.
Yeah.
When was the last time a pitching? When was the last time a Scott Boras pitcher client signed an extension?
I would. Okay. I mean, if it's a rhetorical question,
I don't know. It is rhetorical because I literally don't know,
answer.
but I don't think it's often.
Right. What I will say is this: the last thing I wanted to say about the signings this week, that puts Cardinals right around almost close to 180 million. Well, after the Helsley deal's done, they're going to be really close.
178, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Last year, and everybody wants to look at that. And I still see the complaining from everybody. But last year, what were we, 155 going into opening day, something like that?
Yeah, around there, 160-ish.
Payroll's up $25 million. And I know people are still bitching about, payroll. First of all, payroll doesn't win championships. See the New York Mets. See the New York Yankees. Fill in the blank, right? It just doesn't. So you and I've talked about before. We're going to continue to talk about it. We're not going to spend this episode on it. I like the 40-man roster the way it's set up right now. I like the 26-man roster. There are some fights. Spring training's going to bring some battles for some guys.
I think you led into
I don't think this team is lacking at $180 million. Would I have loved to see us go sign a massive star? Yeah, just because that's fun and that's great for you and I to talk about. They weren't going to do it. They got their guy.
Well, hold on.
Now we got our other guys.
That's not true. They wanted to do it. You kind of led into a good segue. I've got one thing from Mo I want to talk about, one thing from DeWitt I want to talk about, because they had a bunch of press conferences at winter warm-up like they always do. What Mo said was there were a lot of things we wanted to accomplish this winter, and we didn't do any of them other than the catcher. And so they were in on, I'm assuming, and he did say they weren't in on shortstops and they weren't in on starting pitching on the free agent market. Makes sense to me, by the way. Can I be honest, the only starting pitcher I think I would have signed would have been Justin Verlander. I think that's the only one that I would have signed for what he got. The other two, I don't know. I just don't know.
Chris Bassett?
So he was in on some guy. No, he was in on some guys.
Well, you were in on him. You wanted him earlier.
No, I said I thought they were going to. I didn't say I wanted them to.
I got you. My bad.
But I don't know. I think it's interesting that he went that way. Also, then we'll go to DeWitt. DeWitt said that they were 12th in payroll last year and they were 12th in revenue last year. I don't know how they were 12th in revenue last year.
I don't either. They're second.
Actually, I was thinking about this though.
I bought a whole lot of $18 beers.
Yeah, I was thinking about this though. And I want to hear your opinion on this because I heard that comment. I was like, I don't think he's gonna lie, but at the same time, like he could lie about that, and we'll never know if he's right or wrong. But what I do think is Busch Stadium, and we've talked about this, is a very, very affordable place to go watch a baseball game, just on the tickets. Like we're not talking about Ballpark Village and parking, because that stuff, while DeWitt owns a lot of that, that's not the revenue he's talking about. No. And then whether you want to argue whether it should be what he's talking about or not, it's not what he's talking about. So the tickets are very affordable. So like say you're 100,000 more fans are in the gate for you than the Red Sox, but the Red Sox tickets are double your prices.
Correct.
Well, they're passing you in revenue. They're passing your revenue. Like they're passing you. So I think that does play a factor. I think TV contracts play a factor, obviously. So he's probably right. Like 12, like he probably is right that 12th is right around where they're at. But then my question would have been, well, then why aren't you 12th in payroll this upcoming season? Because you're in 15th. So there's that. But I don't know. It's interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see. I wonder who they were in on. They had talked about a left-handed bat. I bet that they were probably in on somebody there. I don't know who. I don't know if it's Jock Peterson.
Bellinger, maybe?
I don't know.
Michael Brantley? I don't know.
I don't know. But like you and I have said, I'm kind of glad that I'm kind of happy with where we are right now. I'm not.
He said he got to. Mo said they got to a point where they looked at the free agent market and said, well, if we're going to keep all these prospects, like, why? Like, we believe more in Alec Burleson. He didn't say this. This is
I know.
like, I'm giving an example. We believe more in Alec Burleson than we do in Cody Bellinger at this point in time. Like, we'd rather see
Especially
what he
with
can
you're
do.
paying them.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, we'd rather see what Alec Burleson can do at at the minimum, or rather than Bellinger at $18 million. So that makes sense.
I think what should make fans happy was his next comment about how now we have a lot of money that if we want to use it at the trade deadline, we are in a position to where we or throughout the season. That has to be the trade deadline, but it could be spring training. Who knows, right?
And I'm gonna one up you a little bit.
What?
He said we will be spending that money.
Right. Okay. There you go. Sorry. Thank you for clarifying.
So that's just a little bit more that's just more concrete. That means they will be spent. Well, now what's that money? Like, he could in his mind right now say, oh, well, it's $20 million, but come spring training, come the deadline, it's now $10 million because he only wants to spend 10. We don't know. Right. But yeah, that's great. I mean, good. Go add at the deadline. Like, here's what we've been saying.
Yes.
We're okay with you standing pat with this team right now because they're clearly, I don't want to hear the Cubs shit. I don't want to hear, they have Eric Hosmer and Trey Mancini as their first baseman, and we have Paul Goldschmidt. I don't want to hear about that. They are clearly the best team in the National League Central right now. I'm okay with you going in and finding out what Jack Flaherty is going to be.
National League Central. Is that what you
That's what I said. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think it's the National League. Okay, sorry, my apologies.
No, National League Central. I don't know. Maybe I said that. I don't know. But I would rather find out what Jack Flaherty is, what Nolan Gorman is, maybe you don't need much at the deadline.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a complimentary piece, or maybe it's 2 bullpen pieces that you need. But I'd rather go in and see that. But you have to be willing to go make the adjustments necessary if you're going to go this way. And that sounds like they are, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're on board there. Okay, a couple things that we haven't talked about. You want to talk winter warm-up? One thing that came out of the winter warm-up today, I think it was today, City Connect jerseys in 24. Supposed to get them this year. Not
going to be red.
Going to be red in them. They did not say if they'll be red. Better say the Lou, right?
Something like that, yeah.
With an arch.
Incorporate the arch somewhere, yeah. Make it look good. Don't make it look like some of the other ones.
Pizza?
I won't get it.
And like written in mushrooms, it says in raviolis. What if it's like one big and it's
just all of St. Louis?
The Lou. Yeah. And there's like a
honestly, that would be kind of cool.
Budweiser.
Yeah, that won't happen. But no, that'd be kind of cool. It's just a Budweiser can with the Lou written on it instead of Budweiser.
I hope it's the arch with the Lou. Look, a lot of people were dogging the City Connect jerseys. I like them.
I think they're cool.
I saw somebody today like, oh, Manfred sold his soul to Nike. Well, do you want Rob Manfred designing jerseys? Like, what are you talking about? This is how uniform deals work. I'm shocked we still don't see the ads on them yet. It's coming. You look at the NBA, you look at the NFL, you look at soccer, you look
Hockey's
at hockey.
Going that way.
It should. Let's make more money. That's more money in the kitty for everybody. But that's cool that at least we know we're going to get a City Connect. I was really hoping it was this year, but now we know. Anything else from the winter warm-up that struck your fancy that you wanted to hit on?
Here's one thing I will say. There are a lot of interviews out there. I think go watch them. Nolan had some very noteworthy comments about Ali Marmol being the best manager he's ever had. That I thought was noteworthy. About how he would never think.
He played for Bud Black, right?
And Walt Weiss.
And we're big Bud Black fans.
I like Walt Weiss too. I thought he was a good manager. And obviously Mike Schultz. Sorry, Mike, you just keep getting dragged. But what was I going to say? Oh, he also said he was never thinking about leaving. That was never something he thought he was going to do. He also said, well, that meeting kind of like you hear meeting and it sounds all like big doings, like, oh, this is crazy and like very formal. He was like, I kind of got blown up. We were just talking. About how where the team was going. So all these people, they were like, he lied to Nolan. No, he didn't lie to Nolan. Mozeliak, it does a lot of things. Lying isn't normally one of the things Mozeliak does.
No.
In fact, I think he's been too candid. It's kind of getting to a scary point. I think he's going off the rails a little bit, maybe even. But I thought Jordan Walker's interviews were great. He seems such a good dude. Have you seen some? He's like taking pictures while picking up pizza with kids in St. Louis. Like he seems awesome. And then
you're gonna love him. You're gonna love him.
That's
all I can tell the fans. You're everything I've read, everything I've seen, and I've paid a lot of attention to Jordan Walker in the last 2 years. You're going to love this dude. And he's going to love it here. And I mean, we saw what Julio Rodriguez, I hate to say it, but we saw what Julio Rodriguez did to Seattle. Not just the team, not just the clubhouse, but the fans.
And Adley.
I'm excited. Like, every guy who's come in to give this team a punch in the gut has been a veteran for the most part. Goldie and Nolan, like to give them a really push. It's going to be awesome to have and potentially Gorman and potentially. I mean, it's going to be awesome when these young guys start to gel. And I think we're in for something really, really cool this season and for the foreseeable future. I really do.
Yeah, I think a lot of Cardinal fans, one day either go way overboard with prospects and expect him to come in and immediately be Julio Rodriguez.
Right.
Yeah, he can be that guy. Like he can. That he's capable of that. That's rare. Very rare. Doesn't happen very often. So
and let's not forget, Julio Rodriguez for the first month of the season wasn't Julio Rodriguez. He struggled.
That's what kind of worries me about this is I don't know if the Cardinals have the patience to let him struggle like that.
Okay, let's just say real quick.
But hold on, I have one more thing I want to say.
Sure.
Or they're a little bit skittish of prospects because Dylan Carlson's come up and they thought he was going to be Mike Trout and he hasn't been up to this point.
Right.
And there's a lot of things like that. But here's what I want to say. You're going to really like Jordan Walker just because he seems like an awesome dude. But also give the kid some time, please. If he comes up and he isn't Mike Trout immediately, Mike Trout wasn't Mike Trout immediately. Give the guy some time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I am really excited. I think he said he was looking out at right field today, and he was like, that was all the motivation I needed. I'm just ready to get to spring training.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I'm excited for him to be here. They're in a good place, man. I'll tell you what, yeah. I get some of the negativity, and I get it. I do. Because they weren't good enough to win the World Series last year. I understand all of that. Absolutely. They're in such a great spot right now with talent. Like I almost think it's being downplayed by John Mozeliak a little bit. Like they have like 12 guys, the most in Major League Baseball, projected to have over 100 WRC plus next year.
Right.
12 projected to be an above league average baseball player.
I know.
And Nolan Gorman's like the lowest.
Yep.
It's crazy.
I'm excited. One thing I will say. Lost it. It was about Jordan Walker. It was going to be good. Felt like we were on a roll there, and then
you said something about us loving him.
We do. That's my guy. I do love Jordan Walker. I do know what I was going to say. In my eyes, I think we can get to this later. We don't need to dig into this now. I think good for the entire organization, good for Jordan Walker, good for everything if he really does start at AAA. Now, if he goes to spring training, hits 580, maybe we change that. But from everything I've read from people who know way more about the minor leagues than I do, right? Probably needs some more time in the outfield and probably needs some more time even adjusting to higher level hitting. That's not a bad thing. I'm not saying he's not going to force his hand. And if he does, hey, I will welcome him with open arms. But I am saying it's not a bad thing for this organization if he does start in AAA. It doesn't mean Jordan Walker's not ready. It doesn't mean that he's not going to be a star here. It doesn't mean any in between.
And it also doesn't mean that it's service time manipulation. It doesn't mean that either to me.
No. Cardinals don't. That's not their MO.
No, they don't do. That's not their MO. They don't do it very often. But what I will say, one, if he forces his way onto the spring training roster, that's great onto the opening day roster. That's great for Jordan Walker. That's great for the Cardinals. It's not so great for one of the three outfielders that's currently going to be starting. But it's great for everybody if he forces their hand, which I think they're open-minded to. I think they're willing to let him force his way onto the roster. They're going to let him have an opportunity.
Yeah,
but also, like you said, if he's not, I kind of want to know what an outfield of O'Neill, Carlson, and Nootbaar are like, and who performs the best with all of them knowing that Jordan Walker is right behind them. And if they fall and they falter and they do what they did last year, talking about Carlson and O'Neill, that they're gone, that they're no longer going to be starting. So I kind of want to see how that shakes out. So I think both would be great for the team.
Last thing from around the league, and then we'll get to the old hard 9 bag. You good with that?
Yep.
MLB and MILB, minor league baseball, announced this week that in the Pacific League, I believe it was, Pacific Coast League, they will be using robot umpires. So that's at the AAA level. That means it's coming. It's in some form. I don't know what that form looks like. We don't know that yet, but if they have now moved it up to the PCL, like it's on its way.
Yeah, if they like it, it will be. Do you? And I don't really have a massive opinion on that. I kind of like the challenge system that they had in place in some leagues, where the hitter can say, "Hey, challenge it." You get like one a game or something like that. And if he's right, you get it back. And they pull it up on the board and ball, and then he goes on the first. So I kind of like that a little bit more, maybe, because I still want umpires to at least. I like ejections. I think it's exciting. I think it's exciting for everybody.
Well, yeah.
So selfishly, I like that, but I also don't like when they make bad calls. So I get that as well.
Right.
I have a question.
Oh, sure.
do you think them knowing this, because I'm assuming Mo had been tipped off that this might be coming. I would assume they're kind of in the know about stuff like this. Do you think that made them more comfortable to extend a little farther to get Wilson Contreras for more years?
I mean, I think I think there's that. I also think the fact that like people, whatever with defense and whatever with him, I mean, the bags are getting bigger, right? Robot umpires are coming. Defensive catchers are I mean, if you can get an offensive catcher who can be average to above average, which I do believe, I think you do too, Wilson Contreras will be average to above average defensively.
I don't think it'll hurt you.
No, but can bring the offense. You now have a very valuable asset in your lineup and on your team. That's what
I also think like people are undervaluing how he's one of the best arms from behind the plate in all of baseball in a year where people believe, well, we'll see how this plays out, but people believe stolen bases are going to be on an all-time high because of pickoff limits and because of the bigger bases, like you said. So to have that, that's very valuable to me. He's a guy that plays similar to Yachty with his arm, nothing else. Okay. His other defense, not too similar. But with his arm, he's very similar to Yachty, very aggressive thrower, wants to get outs on the base path for his pitchers. But yeah, I don't know if I had anything else to say there. That might have been all.
That was good.
Yeah, that's all I had. That's all I said but I didn't have a but. That was all I had. But yeah, I don't know. I think it makes sense why they're going this way. I don't know how much I love it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with it.
Yeah, agreed. So that's like I said, just one other thing to keep an eye on to see how it works. They've experimented with some things. The pitch clock is coming, like it'll be there this year. They've experimented with that down there. Now it's here. When they're experimenting with some things that players, it tells me the players like the robot umpires also, and so maybe do the managers. Although I've heard mixed reviews from people.
I bet pitchers don't like it too much.
You probably because you're not. Greg Maddux would have hated it.
And like Yachty, like how. Here's the thing that's a little bit, and then this is the last thing we'll say about this. How much would this have diminished the value of a Yachty or Molina if it would have come in 20 years ago?
And we'll never know. But yeah, I think that's
like are guys like Austin Hedges and guys that get paid to be there and be veteran leaders that are great game callers and good pitch framers. Are they just going to be out of the game? Like, is that where we're going? That kind of sucks.
Yeah, I agree.
Because there's value in guys like that, I think.
Once again, thank you. Okay, those of you listening, we greatly appreciate you. If you could take a minute, just hit that little red button that says subscribe. That really helps us out. Plus, then you get, I think.
Are we doing the mailbag?
Yeah, we're going to do the mailbag. I just wanted to go ahead and get that in one more time.
I
that was important. Sorry, I'm trying to help the pod here. Look, I'm retired.
It sounded like you.
I'm trying to help. I'm just trying to help the show. What do you
want
me to fucking do?
It sounded like you were ending the podcast.
No, I wasn't. I said before we get to the mailbag or the bag.
You didn't say that.
In my mind, it was said. In my mind, it was said.
Okay, all right. I mean, do your thing. I'll let you go.
It's become one of our favorite things that we do. We love the YouTube comments. I was trying to keep track of Twitter and Facebook comments.
I get shit on. I get shit on regularly.
They blow your fucking nose.
I did. I blew it twice before we got on.
Okay, what sounds better today? One thing that I think we haven't hit enough on is Angela Powers. I think we have to talk a little bit about Angela Powers. Angela Powers is a massive Caleb fan. Thank you, first of all, Angela, for listening.
Yeah, thanks, because you're one of the few of the crowd in the comment section.
I'm not going to read all of her comments because I didn't want to, spend too much time with Angela. But hi, boys. I'm waiting for some more news, and I love that kid. Oh, dude, she loves you. I love it. She's
awesome. She's one of the few. She's like the Marines. She's one of the few in the proud Caleb fans in the comment section. Because the other ones all seem to not be that way.
It was also very fair that she did not care about your nose. Like, she did not care about the nose.
No,
she did not care about any of that. So on our the one that said, is the Cardinals starting pitching good enough? I got a big time kick out of old Speedy. I'm not going to ask why they. Hey, you can either be good or bad that you're called Speedy. We're just going to leave it at that. No, not even close. Right to the point.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. We really do appreciate that.
I don't know if he watched the video or
do what?
I don't know if he watched the video or if he just read the title.
Scrolling through YouTube, saw it pop up, and just said, "I'm going to fucking answer that." Thought he was on Twitter.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
We did get this JJKJ. So I am in. No, JLKJ. So I don't know if he has 4 names or she has 4 names or if it's 2 people who share an account. Hey, sharing accounts. What are we doing? It's 2023. Have your own account. I'm not saying that's the case. We don't know.
We're getting
Really
into a
enjoy your
weird spot
conversation.
here.
Just really enjoy your conversations. Just subscribe. I agree. We need one stud starting pitcher. We've been saying this for years, right? Mike Godar, where are you, buddy? He's been yelling this for 5 years.
Great comment by JLKJ, because some news today that we didn't talk about yet. Ken Rosenthal did say the Cardinals have had at least preliminary talks about Pablo Lopez with the Marlins.
Interesting.
And that Nootbaar seems to be the guy that they would want the most, but the Cardinals will not trade him.
Yeah, I've heard.
Here's what I'll say.
I have mixed emotions on Pablo Lopez.
One opinion I have. I'm not trading any of my starting outfielders for him.
Okay, there you go. Okay, we'll talk about Let's talk about Pablo next time.
Yeah, we will. I'm just saying that was news today.
Yeah. No, it's good to know.
Yeah, so that's interesting, and it's Ken Rosenthal, so it's probably pretty reliable. So
GLKJ, see what you brought to the show with.
Yeah, look at that.
Matt Parker, good enough. Is this rotation even good at all? I think it is. I don't think it's great. I don't. But I will say it again. I don't know. We just don't know. Does Waino continue? I don't know. Is Matt?
I think he'll be good.
It's Jordan Montgomery, what he's been his entire career. It's Miles, the Miles we saw last year, and it's Jack back. If all those things, if everything comes to where we think it can, then I think the answer is yes. The starting rotation is definitely good enough.
I think when you look at it, you feel good about what Miles, Waino, and Monty can bring to you when healthy. You kind of know what those three guys are for the most part, It all comes down to Matt's and Flaherty. What the hell are we going to get out of those two? Are we going to get what they've done within their career at their best? Or are we going to get injury-ridden seasons where they have mid-4 ERAs? They're the guys that can swing the rotation one way or the other. But I'm willing to make a bet on them and find out what they can do in the first half of the season.
I'm not going to read all of this, but actually Dennis Fallstrom brought some really good points. Did you read his comment on there? I'd say yes, even if you didn't.
I might have. I don't know. When was this? Multiple days ago?
Should the St. Louis Cardinals be doing more in the free agent market? Absolutely should be doing more if they hope to win but a raspberry in 2023. I really like that phrase. If they hope to win anything but a raspberry. I remember that.
That's awesome. I've never heard
we
that
lost
before.
Our best pitcher after last season in free agency, Quintana. I agree, but I'm not mad that he's not back. We've talked about that. And didn't get anyone to replace him. Waino is entering his age 42 season. This is a great stat. So this is where I want to stop. I'm not going to read all of the things he said. He made some really good points. Those of you on YouTube, go read it. It's really, he brought it. Only 3 other MLB pitchers have had decent seasons that lasted this long: Spahn, Nolan Ryan, and Clemens. That's a great stat. Dennis, shout out, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's hope that we can add Adam Wainwright into that list.
My thought on it is, I think a lot of times we've seen the Cardinals with Michaelis before he came back and was great last year, which he was, but the 2 years prior to that where he wasn't pitching very much. I think we said, hey, sometimes when you get a diamond in the rough and you kind of catch something that you don't expect, like a Jose Quintana, Cy Young caliber second half, maybe it's best to not bank on that again and just to let it go. Right. I think maybe that's what they did with Jose Quintana. Said, hey, we squeezed that lemon and got all the juice out of it we could. Let's not try and get any more out of that. I think that might have been what they did with him.
Squeeze my lemon till the juice runs down my leg. Is that what you just quoted Led Zeppelin?
No, but you're kind of shitting on my point by not responding to it. So it was a good point. I think sometimes
Dennis brought some really good points. He went on to say he wishes Adam well. He's just nervous about it. Nervous about the rotation. I think all his points were very valid.
I heard that.
I love that. First of all, anything but a raspberry. You got to put that into the rotation. And I really like also telling me that only Spahn, Ryan, and Clemens at that age. That's good to know.
I know he was kind of trying to say that you can't bank on Waino, but all I heard was that Wainwright's a Hall of Famer.
Fair. That's good. I like that. That's the way to take that and spin it. Spin Dennis's words into even a more positive.
Yeah, Dennis, we kind of took your semi-negative comment and made it positive.
Mike Dugan wrote, unfortunately, wait until next year. Dickerson Molina helped us to win 7 extra games this year. Now take away our defensive catch. Mike does struggle with the spelling of R and hour, but that's okay. Hey, we're all human. We're all human here. Our catcher are only pop when we need it, and no improvement in BB, our starting pitching. A lot of stream of consciousness here. Minus the 7 games plus 3.1 runs. Games we scored last year. I think that's been addressed. That's baseball. Go look at other teams. I know we were low on that, but whatever. He's saying last place or third best. I do not agree with that.
So he said that Yachty and Dickerson helped us win 7 extra games.
That's what he said.
Would you be surprised to learn that both of them had exactly 0 WAR? So they helped us win 0 games.
Right. There we go. Thank you for that. Then Jim Rossi did a little stream of consciousness here. Don't you remember what Pujols did his rookie year? He was not supposed to be on the big team. Yeah, that's one of the greatest things ever. Thank you, Bobby Bonilla. Shout out Bobby for Hey, first of all, shout out Bobby for still getting paid from the Mets.
Still getting paid.
Shout out for getting hurt.
Shout out Bobby. What a legend Bobby is.
I might sound cold, but there are games that help build character, and there are things that may need you to have a backbone. If not, bye-bye. I think we've talked about how we do believe there's going to be some great competition.
I don't know what that meant.
I'm not – look, there's a lot going on here. I just got resuscitated. I'm not sure what happened. Thank God. Hey, we're glad you're all right. Well, Jim, we are glad you're all right, buddy, that you got resuscitated. Thank God everything is okay.
I saw this one.
Third base not named Nolan Arenado and moving over from shortstop. I think that was probably when I was talking about – I think that was probably when I was talking about Carlos Correa. I assume we're just glad Jim's okay. We're just glad Jim's okay.
What does that mean? Okay, read the whole thing again. Don't pause.
I don't know.
Read it again because I'm trying to figure out what he even said. Read it again.
Potentially a fellow Italian will know in about 2 to 4
weeks.
Read
it again because I want to hear it.
Mike Dubs said, hello, how about a pitching problem? We've kind of talked about pitching. We're going to continue on that. I don't think, again, I can't say enough. We don't know. But the greatest comment of the last few weeks belongs to my man, the A Master 775. A Master 7.
I just saw
find him on social media. We got to get him on the pod because we need more A Master 775. Caleb Chill, let Mike cook a little. We're going to get shirts made that say, Caleb Chill, let Mike cook. Thanks, buddy. Thank you. You are a master. I appreciate you.
You run the show for the most part, so I just respond to what you say.
I just open it and close it. That's it. Everything in between. You not letting me cook.
We've been getting pretty good views, so maybe we should keep on this track.
The Hard 9 bag is brought to you by soon. We will let you know that soon.
That was weird.
Who is sponsoring the Hard 9
bag? That was
bag.
weird. I don't think that was even necessary.
Aren't you taking fucking journalism classes? It's a tease.
That was stupid.
It was a tease. It was a good tease.
That was dumb. Okay.
By the way, keep reading the comments on Twitter. I love. Like, there's nothing better I get.
I thought for a second you
notification, and then when I open it up and it says Caleb Chill and let Mike cook, I couldn't stop. I couldn't get that to you fast enough. I could not stop laughing. It was.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I thought you had just like closed a brand deal and didn't tell me, and like just now, and you were gonna like break it to me on air that we had a new sponsor.
No. You will know. You will know. I'm retired. This is what I do now. I'm trying to get sponsored.
Yeah. Somehow you're retired.
Somebody, if you got a friend who'd like to sponsor the Hard 9 bag, hey, get in touch with me. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us at the Hard 9 Pod. You can find me at Mike Noble 08, at Caleb Noble 08. That guy right there who needs to chill. We got it. Facebook.
You know what's funny to me though?
Hey, how about that? You can find us on Insta. We haven't done it. I have not posted one thing on there, but we have it.
Yeah. If you're retired and I'm a full-time student, how do you not know anything before I know it on baseball?
Well, I got things I got to do, Caleb.
What do you do during the day? I don't even know what you do.
My daily routine. Get up, I walk, usually 2 to 3 miles, past multi-million-dollar homes. The absurdity that I get to walk by there is not lost on me. Usually Biggie Smalls letting me know how things are going. I come home, I make coffee. We have an espresso machine now that you stole all the fucking pods, so we're out. I don't have any pods left. I had to go to Starbucks this morning because the pods won't be here for 3 to 5 days from Nespresso. Shout out Nespresso. If you'd like to sponsor the bag, that'd be great. So that's usually it. I watch McAfee. Finish Get Out. Shout out Mike Greenberg, one of the goats in this gig. Love him. Love Ryan Clark. Love Dan Orslowski. Fantastic. Love him. Right. Then I watch McAfee for a little bit until your mom has something going on or we got to go do something. Then right around 2 or 3, we have happy hour on the porch. And then we make dinner, and then at night we watch something. We're in the middle of White Lotus right now, so things are good.
Yeah, okay.
That's my day. So now your mom told me I need to start really focusing more on the pod. So here we go. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, now. Do something. I do fucking everything.
I'm going to be reading more tweets. I'm going to be reading John Denton articles that I knew that you didn't know. See, this is what happens. It's the new.
No offense to John, but he's not the first guy I go to read Cardinal articles.
I'm just letting you know that I knew something that you didn't. So
you did. Now I know it. Now I know it too. So I'm still ahead.
Yep. There you go. So that is my day. That is my daily routine right there.
Yeah. Learn how to edit videos, maybe, or something.
No, you told me not to. You said in fact, I will quote, I have become really good at editing videos right now. I've got that. You can't do that. Okay, fine. Won't do that. Try it. All I'm trying to do is get a sponsor for the bag, and you tried to shit on it already.
Sponsor for the bag.
So that's where we're at.
But we need to end this. Do we have anything else we got to talk about?
One more time, we can't thank you guys enough. We hope you had an amazing New Year. Again, be nice to everybody. It's one thing we can do. Martin did a lot. Martin said a lot. Martin, his actions way more important than his words. Not that his words were not important. Let's go out and be that way to other people. It makes everybody better. That's all I can say. And that's where I'm going to end it. Thank you for everybody. You guys are awesome. Tell a friend. We will see you soon.